find them. Fang's herd is an interesting one because I want to go back and replay a lot of the footage and just try and find other individuals within the grouping that I can try and recognize, so that if hypothetically they do arrive here again and we know it's that particular grouping, if Fang isn't there, then we know that maybe something has happened to her or hasn't happened to her, or whatever the case may be. But it would be good just to recognize some of the other individuals, just in case something has gone awry and she's no longer with them, that we do recognize those individuals and know for sure that that herd has come back towards this area. So of course we take little notice of the other females in Fang's herd, not from a point of view that we don't watch them, but we just don't recognize them as easily because she's so iconic and so distinctive. It's always quick and easy just to recognize her. And same as the short trunk herd. If you had to see these other three individuals away from short trunk, we would probably really battle to ID them. But with her being here, we then immediately can tell, given the sizes, that we know that this is her herd immediately. So it's just interesting how one individual with a certain characteristic can be the sort of go-to identifying feature, and outside of that it becomes a lot harder to actually work out who they are. Remember also that we see a lot of different elephants. In the summer months we can sometimes see over 200-300 elephants here in an afternoon, if things go right. And so it's pretty crazy how many elephants can go through, and to recognize every single one of those, especially because some of them are so transient and move around in here for a day and then are gone for a month, it is very difficult to know exactly which elephants we're dealing with from time to time. So ones that have got markings like Fang or short trunk really do help us with being able to see who is who. Beautiful nonetheless though to spend time with them. They are so cool, this herd. They're very chilled, and I was hoping they were going to be slowly making their way to the twin dams for a drink, but I think they've already come from there, given there is these moisture stains on their bodies. I think they've already had a drink, and I wouldn't be surprised by tomorrow morning we find them somewhere in the Mulawati heading up towards Gari Dam for a drink around the nest cam, and also just to go and mud wallow if it's a hot day, because they will be just like any other elephant herd, that they'll enjoy a good mud wallow. But watch her now, she's busy kicking soil away, so she's digging up roots, and that little baby is sitting right there and is going to be learning very carefully how to do this. So even though it's probably not strong enough to dig very well just yet, it's watching mom, it's getting the technique, it's seeing how she uses her feet, and that little baby is going to be gleaning knowledge just from standing beside her mom and just slowly feeding off some grasses and trees. She's going to be learning exactly how to get food in these tough winter months when there's not much available. So it's really interesting to watch, and you can see, look, there she goes again. So it's almost like she's showing the little one where to go. You see that? So she's using her foot right where the little one's got its trunk. That's exactly where she's dug. She then moved back and is almost as if to say, come, you feed off this, learn what this is, you're going to need to eat it later in life. And they are incredibly caring mothers, and they will do these kind of things. They will teach their young ones. They will basically move things around for the young ones to learn. And you can see she's actually shifting this bush willow to expose those roots. I was talking about it earlier, that they will go after the roots, and she's doing that now. So she's pushing the bush willow in a way that she's going to be able to expose the roots better. And there's the little one coming in to feed now and go and get to where she's just exposed. So very cool to see a little lesson on feeding behavior. Now, I'm not sure if I heard this right, because it sounds completely false or fabricated, but apparently Tayla has a spoon of a Goliath with a yellow bill. So who knows what that's all about, but I'm sure it will be entertaining nonetheless. It normally is with Taylor Mack and Fergus Clark on camera.
And it's not the correct term, but it just sort of reminds me of there's a crack of some sort, and all this water gathers here, and it is perfect for birding, as well as the hyenas like to lay in it. And we have a yellow-billed stork here, which is beautiful. I wish we could get a break in the clouds now and get some lovely golden light on it. That would be really nice. And it's quite interesting, the stork, out of the three different bird species we've got here. So you can't really, oh, there comes the spoonbill again. So we've also got an African spoonbill, and we have a Goliath heron, which we'll show you is in the far corner. And it's just amazing the different types of fishing techniques that these birds will use. Obviously, it doesn't look like the Goliath heron, the largest heron in the world, is doing much at the moment, except just walking through the water. And maybe it's going to find a tree to roost on. It is getting a little bit dark now. So they've obviously got a very sharp spear-like beak, which they will try and stab through a fish, as you would if you were spearfishing. That's what they will try and do. They'll plunge their long necks into the water and sometimes stick their whole heads under the water too, and catch frogs and catch fish. Anything, maybe even a small terrapin it would probably take, quite a little one. I mean, they're massive birds. And then you've got the others, for instance, the we can go to the storky, the yellow-billed stork, who stands with its beak agape and does different types of techniques there. It's going to the grassy spots and using its feet and moving around and stirring the water up to try and chase out some of those smaller invertebrates and fish. Sammy Jane, you said that you love watching these birds fish. It is amazing. I could sit here the entire day. And that's an amazing technique. And then when we first saw the stork, we saw it doing something completely different. It just had its mouth open, its beak agape, and waiting to snap a fish. Wait, that's like me when I go to the beach and something touches my foot in the water. I leap, but I leap much further out of the water, unfortunately. So something must have tickled its foot, maybe a little terrapin moving across, or a fish. And then, of course, look at that, the spoonbill stealing the show there. So the spoonbill also likes to fish. A lot of people get confused and think that they're filter feeders, but they're not. So also opening its beak and is trying to flush out by moving its bill from side to side, trying to snap up any little critters. And I really hope if we sit here for long enough, we will be successful and we'll be able to see something like this. But they're beautiful birds. It's something that we don't get to sit and watch very often, and I love my birding. I really do. I find it absolutely fascinating. Oh, hang on, did the stork get something? Looked like it no, unlucky. Maybe a little insect of sort. Maybe a tiny little fish that the spoonbill got. Come on, one of you catch something for us. I feel like we've invested so much time now. Look how they're coming right to the edge, and they've settled down with us, which was quite nice. They're a bit nervous and they moved away when we first arrived here. And normally that happens with birds and sometimes with the animals too, is that they'll move away from you. But if you just sit quietly and you sit in the same spot, they'll relax and they'll come back to you. So this is, again, quite interesting. It looks like they're not really working together, but they're moving in the same direction. So if one of them, chases a fish out or a frog out, the other one's got a chance of catching it if it misses. Now, Richie, wondering if there's this particular type of fish that they feed on, or if it's just any fish. It's just anything. I'm sure there's tilapia of sorts in here. I wouldn't even be able to tell you which type of tilapia. I have yet to see any fish. There's definitely some catfish swimming around in here, and maybe some smaller little species as well. I'm not actually familiar with the types of fish that are around here. I'll have to get a book and have a little look. I'm sure there'll be lots of smaller species of fish too. Maybe no, I don't think you get sickles up here. Maybe in the lakes and things, but maybe not on the river. But there they go. Off they go again. An odd couple. Look at that. I just love the way that they just change up, and particularly the stork, the way that it just changes its feeding techniques. And quite regularly, because now since we've been sitting here, I think it's done it about 3 times, where it's either just walked with its beak open, hoping to, snap something right in between its beak, or then it uses its foot when it gets to those grassy bits. And that's where the fish will also go, because remember, on a hot day, there's not much shade around, but those bits of grass will most certainly cast a shadow. And that's sometimes what the herons like to do. With the black heron, for example, that folds its wings into an umbrella and hides its head. It'll do that out in the open, and the fish are attracted to that, and they will come through and sit right underneath it where it is in striking range. So the fishing techniques of birds is absolutely incredible to sit and see them. All we need now is a kingfisher sitting on the edge of the bank, ready to spear its sharp beak into the water. Oh, Tina, you've said that the spoonbill is number 30 on your Mara list. Congratulations. Actually, I need to add a few more birds to my list too. Shall I do that while I'm here? While you watch the birds, let me find it. I have to find a pen though. Where is my pen? And the page. Ooh, hello. There's another stork. What's going on over here? Look at the beautiful colours of the plumage of this one. Now, they're both the same species. Why is one bigger than the other? Is one a juvenile, or one a male, one a female? Let me get my phone out. I want to have a quick look and see who is larger. That's quite interesting. No, these apps, they all just open at the same time. Isn't that ridiculous? Kestrel Fox, you're wondering if you get the black heron here. I have yet to see it. I don't think so. I don't think it occurs here. They were in Zambia, if I'm not mistaken. I think I remember seeing black heron. Yes, I did see black herons on the Zambezi River and the tributaries. But I have not seen them here. But I haven't really had a chance to do much birding at all. What am I looking for? Stork. See, I get so distracted I can't concentrate on my original plan. Let's go. Yellow-billed stork. Let's see who is larger. Must be a juvenile. I'm just thinking, because the size difference is quite big. So maybe this one is just a youngster and hasn't quite grown into itself just yet. But I'm not going crazy. Can you see a pink tinge? You can, hey? Okay, and a few of you have also noticed that, so that's quite interesting. Typically you start to see that with flamingos. When they are eating shellfish, it normally enhances that pink color. I've forgotten what the chemical is called now for the life of me. I apologize. I have not spoken about flamingos and their coloration for a very, very long time, because I have yet to see a flamingo in the Sabi sand, although I have heard of some stories, and Brent was telling stories about them being at Singita or Londolozi at one point. But yes, I wonder if it's just not, it's diet related perhaps. Again, this is the first time I've actually seen it on a yellow-billed stork. But interesting, but much larger than the other. You can see it when it came crash landing in. And look at this one, look at the different technique now, completely submerging its bill and moving it from side to side and just standing stationary. So isn't this fantastic how we're sitting here and observing the various fishing techniques? Oh, fantastic. So Tristan's going to go on and on and on about, when you go back to him, about the animals and their pinkish tinge. I've completely forgotten what all the special words are and all that, so we'll go to him. But it's diet related. And I know that in zoos and bird sanctuaries and stuff like that, what they often do is they're quite sneaky, because that's not what really the flamingos are feeding. They're normally fed a type of, food, and they'll put food coloring in the water to enhance their colors, which I think is a bit of a cheat. But there we go. So that seems to be the stock standard thing. As soon as you find grassy patches, you stick your feet in there and you give it a bit of a wriggle and hope that something comes out. Doesn't seem to be too much life in this water though, because I haven't seen them catch anything yet. That's a beautiful shot. They're not really the most attractive looking birds now, are they? Especially when you look at them that close. But how's that beak? That's amazing. I wouldn't like to be pecked by... Maybe a spoonbill would be okay. I can't imagine that would be too sore. But I would not like to be pecked by a heron, by that Goliath heron, or this yellow-billed stork. Come on, that'd be perfect if you could catch something. Oh, very cool. This is so interesting. Wonderful. So it seems as though Jamie is up and running. Hopefully she has reached her destination, and it sounds like she's got something stunning to show you.
We do. We have something utterly gorgeous to show you. It's not an animal, it is a view. And I think it's one of the most spectacular views I've seen in the Mara so far. There's just something about the way that the light is hitting the rain over Tanzania and then shining across the plains. It really is breathtaking. Isn't that spectacular? Zebra, rain, looking across the vast open spaces. Very, very pretty. Now that we've shown you a very, very pretty view, I'll have to tell you something that broke my heart. A moment ago, Craig and I were sitting with a female leopard and her cub, unfortunately right down in a very deep lugger, a very deep drainage system, and no matter what we did, we just couldn't find the signal to show it to you. I think it's the same female you've seen with Brent and with Tayla. Really pretty girl. I didn't want to leave, but we had to. We just couldn't find signal. It's one of those things. The highs and lows of the terrain, it's just not possible for us to be able to show you everything in certain areas. So what we've done is moving on, we've come to find the cheetah that Brent saw in this area as well. She's here somewhere. I'm going to search thoroughly, and if we don't manage with her, we'll go and find some lions. Let's go back all the way across to South Africa, equally beautiful, and enjoy some scenes with Tristan.
Well, beautiful is a good way to describe it, Jamie. This is our bachelor Fergus Clark, cam operator out of South Africa. He likes long walks on the beach and play the guitar for ladies under starry nights for those that deserve it. He's also a connoisseur of wine, cheeses, and various other food items. He likes, like I say, long strolls on the beach and travel. He's also been a cameraman for a number of years, seen some amazing things, and has been all over the world. He's also dabbled in a bit of music as well. So, a eligible bachelor for sure. Now, ladies, you'll have to tell us if he's worth putting a ring on it or not. There is Fergus Clark, the cameraman. He's probably going to punch me for that, but anyway, he's in the Masai Mara, so there's not much he can do about it from there until such time as he gets back here. Lou, I think you're going to have to fight off many others in order to get towards Ferg. Anyway, back to more serious stuff. Now, interestingly enough, I heard about Tayla's bird with the pinkish pigments on the back. It is basically diet related in the yellow-billed storks. It does happen quite regularly with them. They do get a pink coloration quite often. It's called erythrism. It's basically a coloration of red pigments that forms in the feathers. You do see it sometimes in some birds where they're born with it. It's a congenital defect that they have, and they basically have an oversupply of red pigments, and they then get that kind of reddish tone. But with them, it's a diet related thing, and the way it comes from is it actually comes from freshwater mussels. So when they feed off freshwater mussels, they get this red and pink pigment that develops on their feathers, and they become very deep in that color. And the reason why I know this is because we used to see yellow-billed storks at Lebombo, and Brent, who's not out this afternoon, would be able to attest to that and would be able to explain it also, because, well, Brent used to spend time at Lebombo too, and the yellow-billed storks there display it quite commonly. So it is a common process with them, and they do often show that reddish pink pigments a lot of the time. So I just want to get down this hill quickly, and then need to rescue my water bottle that has fallen between my feet, because, well, I don't want to end up in a situation where I can't drive because a water bottle gets stuck on the accelerator or something like that. Come on. Now I'm back in the Muluwati, back towards Twin Dams, just to check around if Hosana hasn't come back to the water now that it's getting that time of the day. It's getting cooler now, the sun is starting to set. It's perfect time for a leopard to be moving around, so I want to just slowly meander my way around this area and just check. I'll check the fire break, I'm going to check Gary Main, and just do a real thorough scan of what's going on. Now the last tracks that I think are his, it's obviously difficult because he's been here so much, and we know Tumbo was here yesterday afternoon, and they've walked around here all the time, and there's tracks for these two everywhere in this general vicinity. But the last track that I can see that looks like from him is actually just in front on my left hand side here. So it comes off that bank and down, so that's where I think he's come from, and he's then crossed onto this bank. Now it could be from last night, and it could be tracks that are not worth following, but they also could be fresh tracks and worth having a look around at. So just slowly meandering in this section. I know both of them, I've seen them both spending a lot of time just on the top side of this bank under a tall tree that's just on my right hand side here. So I might just do a little quick loop around. Hopefully we won't have a repeat occurrence of what happened yesterday, because that's exactly where Rusty broke his steering arm. So let's not have that again, but we will just go and have a little check. There's some eroded gullies there, a little bit of shade, not a bad place for a leopard to lie, so would be worth having a little look around. There's somewhere here that his tracks came down and was on that wall somewhere, so general vicinity is right, and hopefully we will find him somewhere in this typical section. Senzo's on the lookout. He's scouting, checking, trying to use those eagle eyes of his to find us a cat, because we don't want to break our streak. But I feel like it might happen today. It might be the day that we break it. I hope not, but let's see. It doesn't look very positive at this stage. And there's a kingfisher. So, Kaiti, you say there's no cure for khaki fever, and Kate, you say wow, just wow, Ferg is very handsome. Ferg, you've got some admirers. Lou, you've got some competition. This is all going to get very interesting. And I think Ferg is about to get a lot of mail on his Twitter and Instagram accounts. I feel like he may not be very happy with me, but oh well. He started it, he got involved in the banter, and well, if you're going to dish it out, you're going to have to take it too. Is that not right, Senzo? Yeah, Senzo says yes, exactly. Right, now up we go. Hopefully Rusty's going to survive this bout. We've been very tentative with Rusty today. We haven't taken him over too much. We've been protecting him, but it's now time for him to do a bit of work and for us to find a leopard. It's that time of the day. I need a leopard fix in my life, so let's see if we can find little Hosana somewhere up on this bank. I have a funny feeling that if he is up here, I would be very surprised. I have a funny feeling he is south in Little Gowrie. Nobody can give me an update though. Everyone says that they are down with Shadow on Hoffman, so that's actually a good update to be giving all of you, because I know a lot of you worry about Shadow and what's been happening with her, but apparently she's there on Little Gowrie and is just taking it easy. Apparently she's fine. She's still got a bit of a limp, but not too bad at this stage, so that's really good news, and I'm glad to hear that Shadow is somewhat okay. I'm not sure if her cub is there. It was really bad quality audio. I couldn't hear very well, couldn't make out a lot of what they were saying, but I just got Shadow, Hoffman's, and that was kind of where it ended. So I'm not sure if the cub is there. I did ask, I did say is the cub there, but all I got back was and that unfortunately I don't speak, and so I wasn't able to understand. But I will try and speak to the guys after drive, just send a message to them and find out what's happening with that cub and if it's been seen, because we haven't seen it this side for quite some time. Let's try and avoid some of these fallen over stumps. Jared's buddy, you asking me about the female track that I spoke about yesterday morning up near Buffelshoek boundary, and whether or not I think it could be for Shongile. Tough to say. It might be, it also might be for Tundi. We know Tundi is moving around a lot these days, and it could very well be for her. So I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I really am not sure. It would be a big call to make. I didn't look at the tracks for very long because of our lack of signal. I was trying to get out of that area and trying to get somewhere to help Brent a little bit, and so I didn't look very hard at those tracks. They were heading also anyway into Buffelshoek, so there's not really much I could do with them. So I think in all likelihood it's probably Tundi. It could be Shongile, it really could, given where it was, but I think in all likelihood, in my mind, I don't know, Tundi just seems to come to mind for it. It could be wrong, like I say. It's one of those things where you might be wrong, you might be right. You just try and kind of think about it and see. Now I need to stop for 2 seconds, and not because Rusty is broken, but because the little thing that goes over our steering wheel, our little rubber kind of attachment that goes over all the gaffer tape that we have on Rusty's steering wheel, because Rusty's steering wheel was wearing down, slipped off, and if it slips off, it gets stuck in the steering wheel, and then you can't turn, and you fight, and then it breaks, and then I'm going to be in trouble. And I think I've done enough damage to the cars over the last 24 hours that I will try and avoid doing any more for the next little bit. At the end of the day, we don't want these cars damaged any further than what they are already by me. It's taken its toll following leopards around the last 2 weeks. Oh well, it's what Land Rovers are built for. They're meant to break down and come back up again. That's how we do it. They are a car that is suited for this kind of work because they're small and light, and they are excellent at getting into these small places, but there is often sometimes a little bit of damage that gets done. But the nice thing about that is, as we proved yesterday, is that they can be fixed with just a spanner and a wheel spanner, which is really kind of very few cars that can actually have that situation. So nice to have them, and nice that we can fix them when we need to, should there be any issues. Right, now, no sign of Hosana. I thought he might be up on this bank, lying in these little tamburti thickets that we have on my right-hand side. It's just on the edge, it's shady, it's a perfect place for a leopard just to hide out, particularly if things like baboons were around. So that's why I wanted to just check here and make double sure that he wasn't in this section. So it seems as though he's not here, and that means that, well, I think I'm going to do Gowrie Main, maybe check Treehouse Dam. We know that he does go to Treehouse Dam. Check that general vicinity. If there's nothing there, then we'll come with a spotlight, make double sure there's nothing at the dam, and if there's really nothing after that, then we're going to head off to where we had those male leopard tracks on Zoe's, which I'm sure is Tingana's, but I think in all likelihood Tingana must be inside Arethusa. I didn't get an update. I did ask, but I couldn't hear what was going on from the Arethusa side of the world. Right, now we are going to have a sunset in just a little bit, not quite just yet. It's still got a little bit of a way to go, but I believe Tayla McCurdy does have a sunset, so let's jump across to her and see her beautiful orange globe going down.
Very, very quickly, I'm sorry, but look how stunning this is. It is so dramatic, and it's almost as though the Olololo escarpment has taken on the colour of the Drakensberg Mountains, which are also known as the Blue Mountains. I suppose that's very typical for any mountain range at this time of the day, but with the dark clouds above it and those highlights of orange, it really is spectacular. You know, I used to think that we'd get the most amazing sunsets and sunrises at Djuma, but there's some serious stiff competition, and I now understand why Brent won. One day, it was myself, Tristan, and Brent, where we had competitions trying to get the best sunset shot. Or maybe it was with Byron, and then Brent had won. And I can clearly see why. We really cannot compare the scenery to Djuma, from Mara to Djuma. I suppose they're very different in their own ways. I mean, those marula trees make for the most unbelievable silhouettes. Yes, we've got a couple of trees that have got nice flat tops, which are quite pretty, and the Olololo escarpment, and of course the rain that we can see in the difference in the distance. But it is absolutely stunning. Ooh! So apparently we're going to start another competition. So that's all rain down there. That's why you can't see anything anymore. That's just the water falling from the sky. Tristan has said that he thinks the sunset at Djuma might give us a run for our money. So I'm very excited for this. So we'll have a sunset off then. You can hashtag Safari Live with the screenshots that you would have taken from my sunset. And the sun should be setting soon at Djuma. It's a little bit early. Is it? Yeah. Maybe in the next 10 minutes or so it'd be really good. They're the clouds, the low-lying clouds that are bringing a lot of the rain. They remind me of spaceships, though. Those big flat white clouds. This is a real ominous sky. I mean, that's one of the, I think it's actually a standard. When you apply for a job at Wild Earth, especially to be a presenter, they ask you, this is one of the things that they say use the word ominous in a sentence. I feel like that's a word that we definitely say way too often, although I haven't heard anybody using it for quite some time. So every now and then we give it a break and then we bring it back again. But that's always funny to do. And I used to do it to my teachers because I was very naughty at school. But they loved me, but I was naughty. I never got expelled or suspended or anything like that. But detention, I went to often. Oh, okay. Apparently we want to have one more look at the sunset. So basically what I would do is certain teachers would say certain words quite frequently, and I'd sit when I was not paying attention in class, which was most days, and I would do a tally of how many times they said a particular word. I think that could be a fun challenge to do at some point on some of those quieter drives, is figure out, you guys know what our catchphrases are, or the words that we like to use often. You know more than what we do. We don't realize that we're saying them. So maybe the next couple of days we can start doing tallies if you find yourself bored and wanting to be entertained. But that's lovely. Right, so here's our beautiful view. Once again, the light is starting to fade, but I think it's about time we go across to Tristan and see if his sunset is as good as what he said.
Well, our sunset might not be about big open fields and grasses and well, beautiful views of the landscape, but we do get the most incredible bright orange sun that disappears between the leadwood branches that are on the banks of the Mulawati, and it is still a wonderful thing to see as it goes through those branches and just kind of slowly disappears over the horizon. So we get these beautiful colors that start to kind of appear in the bush, and it is a fantastic place to see them. I always love watching the sunsets in the Sabi stands just because of the trees that we've got, and sometimes you get marula trees, and in other cases it's big leadwoods like this particular tree that is busy holding up the sun. By the looks of it, it almost looks as though that sun has been placed in the boughs of that tree and just left to sit there. Of course, we know it will drop down a little bit, and it's approaching the horizon with rapid rate, so I would imagine within the next, I would say, 2-3 minutes it will be down and out and gone from our view. But still wonderful to see. It is beautiful when you've got a wonderful sunset, and it's such a nice time of the day just to stop and sit. It's also a great time of the day because we know that a lot of the animals start to get moving that are predators, so at this time of the day we will hear things like leopards moving and alarm calls and lions and the various other things that go around. And so sunset is a good time to stop. It's why a lot of the safari vehicles stop around sunset, firstly to enjoy the view, but secondly to be able to listen for predators. Now, I thought I saw a Varro's eagle owl, but I didn't, unfortunately. It is just the way a certain tree had a branch in it, so down to my south I thought I'd been very clever and spotted a Varro's eagle owl, but unfortunately not. So there goes our sun. You can see the horizon right in the distance there. It's just starting to dip below that, and so we soon are going to lose visual of it. There's a brown hooded kingfisher calling in the background, and well, otherwise it's very still. Now, hashtag Safari Live. Tayla McCurdy, Tristan, sunset. T1 sunset or T2 sunset? Who should be T1? We'll be T1, aren't? Hey, Senzo. Let them be T1 because they started. Okay. Okay, T2 for me. Alright, so I'm T2, T1, hashtag T1, hashtag T2, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or YouTube chat as to who you want to see, well, which sunset you preferred. I personally didn't see Tayla's sunset, so I wouldn't know the foggiest between the two of them, but, well, we have at least some trees and stuff, and I like the trees, so I'm going to go with our sunset. Plus, I'm living it, which is quite nice. It's a beautiful view from where I am. There's actually my brown-hooded kingfisher that I was talking about. Since I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but straight in front of me here, on this branch to the left of your sunset, is the brown-hooded kingfisher that was calling, that I was referring to just now. And it's perched fairly out in the open. Whether or not it's going to stay there is anyone's guess at this stage. They are birds. So there it is. It's calling now. So that's it calling up a little bit. There it is, so straight in your frame. There we go. So there's our brown-hooded kingfisher. You can see bright red beak, that brownish coloured head, and then the little bit of blue that they have on them. Now these guys unfortunately are about to be silenced by the influx of the woodlands kingfisher. These guys tend to take a back seat once the woodlands arrived, and they're only when they depart do we start to see the brown-hoodeds regularly and hear their call a lot more. It seems as though when the woodlands get here, they know just to keep quiet, it's not worth competing, and they leave it to them and then carry on after they leave again. So these guys stay all year round, whereas the woodlands obviously only here in the summer months. Beautiful view of one though. They're quite tough to get on camera because they generally are a little bit sort of flighty. They don't like vehicles very much. That's the view that I've got down into the Mulawati. Isn't it beautiful? So I'm going to start meandering into my sunset. You can even see our sunset on our bonnet, because Tayla McCurdy will be very happy I washed Rusty today, and I will be giving Rusty a good polish at some point as well, but today he got washed and is now looking all spiffy and clean. Right, Senzo, hold on. It's going to be a steep descent into the Mulawati riverbed. Hopefully we will not damage anything. This is the hill that I was talking about with Wendy and Rusty. Rusty negotiates this like a pro going the other way, whereas Wendy sometimes a little bit of a struggle to get up here. Oopsie. You right there, Senzo? Good. Okay, there we go. And Rusty is over. Well done, Rusty. Sabi sunset for the win. Woohoo! Well done, guys. Well done, Senzo. High five, buddy. There we go. Now, of course, it's not really a real competition, and I'm sure Tayla's was just as beautiful, and it's all just a bit of fun and games, just to have a bit of a laugh amongst each other. But at least we won. Of course, we won't let Tayla know that. We're going to just rub it in. When I speak to Tayla next, I'm going to tell her that our sunset was prettier, and that we found a beautiful sunset as well. So now I just need to find a leopard, and then we can beat her in that too, and then they'll be really, the cat will be amongst the pigeons, and I'll be in a lot of trouble probably. So I'm going to slowly check along Gari Main now to see if any sign of Hosana crossing. If there isn't, I'm sure he must be here, and I will find him. Like I say, I'm a bit of a dog with a bone when it comes to these kind of things. Now these tracks here, I just want to investigate quickly. Baboon tracks, all of them. So this is where the baboons cross south, and I'll show you the track now because it's actually quite a nice one that's on this side. If Rusty would go into reverse, that would help. Alright, Senzo, so I'm going to park you so that you can see a little bit better. But basically, just on this sort of edge here, basically coming across there, so those ones, there's the tracks going over the road, and in fact, actually, no, it is baboon tracks. That's just the hind foot of these baboons. The proper baboon, the front foot is further back than that. And you might be wondering why I know it's a back and front foot. Well, the back track of a baboon has that much more elongated shape, and you can see the opposable thumb on the left foot there. So the left foot is the one closest to us. The thumb goes away from our direction at a sort of 45-degree angle, and then the fingers in front. So it's a fairly young baboon, this one, and that's its back foot. On the front foot, you won't have that section towards the back, that pointy section. It will have a rounded section, and I'll show you quite exactly what I mean once I find it in my book. There we go. Alright, so what you've got there in that track is this particular track over here, which is the back foot. So that is the baboon track back foot that we see, the big one, and you can see that V that comes back, that opposable thumb that I was talking about, and then the long fingers that go off. Also with the baboons, you will find this elongated extra lobe on it. Then with the vervets don't quite have a long one like this. They tend to have a very short rounded lobe there, but the front foot you can see is very different. The front foot has this B shape for baboon, which is quite nice. It helps to be able to understand the track and to know it better, and then very long fingers on the front foot as opposed to the back foot, and again the opposable thumb. And if we have a look at the vervet monkey track that you see on this side, so the one that you could confuse it with out here, you see even the front foot on the vervet monkey has the V for baboon, for vervet, and then the baboon one has the B for baboon. So that's the front foot there of the vervet, and that's the front foot of the baboon up on the top right. So it gives you a nice indication of how we're able to track them. And this on the left hand side is an actual size of a vervet monkey track. This one here is a reduced size, so it can be slightly bigger than what we see there. So it gives you just an idea of the two monkey tracks that we see. Now the thing is, with these monkeys going southwards, it might be a good place to check Treehouse Dam, because maybe Hosana went northwards. Maybe he decided, I'm going to get out of these baboons' way and head towards Treehouse Dam. We know he does do that quite a bit, and we've seen him at Treehouse Dam. There's no sign that I can see of a leopard crossing Gari Main anywhere. I've checked the Mulawati, so I think possibly he might be still somewhere in this general vicinity. Oh, now it sounds like Tayla McCurdy is having a reset and is rematching to a second attempt of the sunsets. Let's see if she'll have a better outcome, but I don't know if it's within the rules.
Very, very disappointed in all of you for choosing Tristan's sunset over mine. I don't think I can carry on anymore. I'm just joking. Tristan, you are a rock star, aren't you? You just win at life all the time. Well, congratulations. It was well deserved. I thought we were a shoo-in, really. It was so spectacular. Now, my initial plan was, of course, to go towards the river. We have since changed our minds. The reason for this is because there's some very dark clouds that have come in all of a sudden, and I do not like the look of them. And I would like to go for day number 3 without having to put my rain covers on. Whether it will be possible, I don't know, but maybe we'll have some luck here. Oh, there's some giraffe. I'll stop and have a look at them now. We'll just try and stop. We have to use the gears again to slow down. Whoa, car. There we go. Made it stop quite gently as well. The other time I did that, I forgot, I took my foot off the clutch too quickly, almost lost my teeth on the steering wheel. And that would have been very awkward if I had to do my safaris with no teeth. But look at that. There's some giraffe. There's some last bit of light sort of catching on the clouds. It's amazing just how dark it gets, especially with all the clouds around. It's going to get pitch black very quickly. You can just see them moving back towards the escarpment. They've still got quite a way to go. Perhaps they'll settle somewhere in between. And there's an entire journey of them. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think about 10 or 11, which is quite cool. And an impala, a little impala lamb as well. Just posing in between the giraffe. Hello, tiny tot. This one's not too young because Mom has brought it back to the herd. The rest of them are just off to the left. And it seems as though there's quite a few youngsters here. So they're probably about 3 or 4 weeks old now. Maybe 3 weeks old. Maybe I'm aging them too much. Now, what would be perfect is if we could get the hyenas to start whooping or a lion to start roaring. I've not seen any lions this afternoon, not even a sign of them. Perhaps we'll have to head back towards the lugger, the drainage line that the Angamas like to hang around. Maybe they're back. We'll go and check it out. A very curious giraffe. She's not having any of it. You've basically got a tail to the face, mister. And off they go. Isn't that beautiful? Look at all the trees in the background. I get excited when I see all those trees from where I'm sitting because they just look like black specks on the open area, and I think they're wildebeest. Now, Alex, you're wondering, how do these giraffe not get too much blood in their head when they bend their heads down to drink or eat? Well, it's incredible. So at the base of a giraffe's skull, there is a spongy muscle, essentially. And there are lots of blood capillaries. So that blood is not being pumped to one direct source. It's actually being sort of split up and spread out. So this allows them to not basically get a head rush and faint and fall over. So it's a combination of all the capillaries that are around the base of the skull and also that spongy sort of tissue that helps alleviate some of the pressure. But it always amazes me because if I look down for too long, I feel lightheaded. So it's incredible how giraffe are able to do it. But let's carry on. Let's see what else we've got. This is a good road for lions. So you never know what could possibly pop out in front of us. And we're going to start scanning. But it's, for now, it's a little bit on the quiet side. But that's okay. We've actually had a very, very nice drive. I thoroughly enjoyed myself this morning. That bumble was spectacular, and this afternoon has been very pleasant as well. Very, very nice indeed. Everyone looks like they're going home. Impala running that way, giraffe are going this side, buffalo. Well, I'm trying to not get hit by the impala. Let's see if these little ones are going to jump. They're all racing like rabbits. Oh. We hit the brakes quite hard. Phew, that was a mouthful of a question. I'm going to try and repeat it. I'm probably not going to repeat it accurately. It's from James, and it's regarding which animals between South Africa and Mara, so in Kenya, exhibit the most behavioral changes. I think area specific, something along those lines. Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm just going to move out the way because, as you can see, we've got a cloud of dust, and I will answer your question with a vehicle coming towards us. So I just want to pull off. I'm actually going to angle us slightly because, I can't. I don't want to eat the dust. Okay, we're going to do the duck and cover, and then I'll get your question, James. Are you ready? Ferg, got to get the jersey out like this. Okay. Hello, and duck from the dust. No, I'm joking. It's not actually that bad. I was just being a drama queen. So, oh my God, it's like gorillas in the mist, but giraffe in the dust. I don't think we should see any more cars. So, we're starting again. It's a tough one I just have to think about this for a moment to sort of start comparing animals. Let me just quickly think about this. I don't know. The elephant feeding behavior here is quite interesting. compared to, well, again, that's food. I suppose that's area specific. Lions, there we go. Lions are the ones that have really intrigued me the absolute most. So, firstly, I actually chatted a little bit about this the other day. The fact that the lions here, the lionesses, have home ranges, but they have territories too. So they sort of have a core territory in the center, and then they have a home range that extends further than that. And because of the high density of lions, the lionesses have started marking territories. And I've never seen that in South Africa. And I don't think that there are many guides in South Africa who haven't worked in other areas in Africa have seen something like that. So for me, James, that's probably the most amazing thing. Unfortunately, I haven't had an opportunity to spend much time with leopards. And when I have, they've really been sleeping or just, sort of had their heads up, not doing anything out of the ordinary that I've noticed. The giraffe, and seeing as though we're sitting with them, no, I haven't noticed anything different. They sort of behave very much like the giraffe in South Africa. So for me, it has to be the lions that are the most interesting. Oh my goodness, there's even some southern ground hornbills flying. You might see them, they might pop out just on the other side of the giraffe. There we go, you saw the white, there they go. And that's a car. Wow, gopher, go! Look at that panning skill. Oh, there's the other one. That is beautiful. What perfect timing. Fantastic. Obviously going to find a spot to roost on the river. Maybe they are the same hornbills that woke me up one morning with the dawn chorus when there's a third one, when I had a little nap against the Mara River. That was spectacular. That was really lovely. What a lovely scene. You really just don't know what you're going to expect when you're out here. Wow. Really, every single time I come out on safari, and I have days like this that are, the animals are just behaving really well. Hello giraffe, hello buffalo, we'll sneak through, I don't want to disturb you. And then having, beautiful... I don't know what this giraffe just tried to do. It was quite funny as we went past. It looked like it sort of jumped up and tried to kick and buck as if a horse would, but it didn't work, of course, it's quite long. But yeah, so what I was trying to say is just seeing the dramatic skies, the beautiful sunsets, and all the animals, and just really trying to take it in. It's stunning. It really, really is truly magnificent out here. So Tristan seems to... Ooh, sorry, can you please go again, Alice? Oh, there we go, that's exciting. I was just about to say, Tristan, the Leopard King, was on the search for leopards, but it seems as though he's found one.
Yes, Tayla, we have, and there, look, who's sitting at Treehouse Dam. So my hunch to come check Treehouse Dam has paid off. With the baboons heading south, the leopard has headed north, and there comes Hosana, and he's now lying at his other favourite spot. If it's not at Twin Dams, where he lies on the dam wall. Yes, Hardy Da, I know there's a leopard. Thank you very much. You've warned us. You've told us. Thank you. You can keep quiet now. Yes, there we go. Hardy Da is now going to carry on shouting. But Hosana, this is his other favourite spot. He loves this log that is fallen over at Treehouse Dam, so I'm super glad that we came in this direction to come and check for him. So what a wonderful surprise, and the streak continues. I think if it wasn't for Hosana, we wouldn't have gone about 3 days without a cat, but he has been such a solid performer for us over the last few weeks. We really have been so fortunate in that he's spent a lot of time around these dams, and he keeps lying right out in the open where it's easy to find him, and we've had the best time with this little cat. So isn't that a sight for sore eyes? And like I say, our run continues. So Tayla, unfortunately, you've lost the sunset, and now you've lost the big cat challenge too. So we've really hammered Tayla today, and we'll have to give her something to cheer her up. No, I'm sure Tayla's just fine, and we mean it with the utmost jest. I know what it's like when it's a little bit quiet, and I was stressing a little bit because if we came to Treehouse and he wasn't here, I was really not sure where this cat could have gone to. I wasn't 100% sure if he may have crossed south, but given that I checked south and he wasn't, there was no tracks crossing over Gari Main. The only other place he could have gone was either the Mulawati or Treehouse Dam, and luckily for us, there he sits at the dam right out in the open. So what a wonderful surprise it is to see our little boy. He's starting to yawn, which means maybe, just maybe, he might get up and start moving. Hello, big boy. He is looking really good though. busy watching some Egyptian geese that are on the other side of the waterhole. That's what he was watching moving around. You can see, imagine having a noisy neighbor like the hardy all the time. In fact, I can imagine that, because where I used to live in Johannesburg, those hardy used to land on my windowsill and cry like that at 4 o'clock in the morning. And it was not very pleasant. So I can sympathize with you, Hosana. I know that shouting and that wah every 2 seconds like that is not that pleasant. So I'm pretty sure Hosana will hope that it keeps quiet. Now what he might want is the Egyptian geese to come round. So Tayla McCurdy is saying that her feelings are hurt and that she's going to adopt the fetal position and cry herself to sleep tonight. Tayla McCurdy, there's no need for that at all. We are just joking. And if anybody can find a cat on the way home, it will be Tayla Mac. And I'm pretty sure she's going to get something epic to make up for her day. But I think Hosana is going to stalk this Egyptian goose. There's an Egyptian goose that is slowly walking in this direction. His eyes are fixed on it, and he's just bowing his head down below and watching the Egyptian goose. So there's the Egyptian goose right there, and Egyptian goose has decided, no, hang on, there's something not right. I'm going to change my mind and move off. Now a leopard will hunt an Egyptian goose. I have seen Tundi's youngest cub, Wabayuza, grab an Egyptian goose once at Chitwa Dam, so they do go after them from time to time, and you can see there's a big sigh as if to say, come on Egyptian goose, come closer, don't walk away. And the Egyptian goose is not listening at all. Now also Tayla McCurdy's got nothing to complain about now that I'm thinking about it. Sorry, my little hamster takes a while to catch up on its wheel. It sometimes turns a little slower than it should, but she's got nothing to complain about. I do believe last night she saw 2 bat-eared foxes. Now I'm very envious in that she's gotten to see bat-eared fox. She's also been seeing the cheetahs regularly, so she's got really no reason to complain and no reason to be crying herself to sleep. She's having a wonderful time that side and seen so many amazing things. Judging by the Instagram posts and the photos that I've seen on her pages, she seems to be having a really, really good time and seen a lot of amazing things. So, you know, she's also not doing too badly herself. And while we have been lucky with leopards, it's not always going to be this way. Oh, big yawn. I think he's going to start thinking about moving. I think you're going to see a bit of grooming happening. Then I think he's going to start waking up and heading maybe hopefully down for a drink. Imagine if he comes down to drink in this light. We'll just put a bit of light on him and it will be beautiful with the reflection, because Treehouse Dam is still. The wind has dropped completely. There's the odd insect that is busy hatching. Lots of mosquitoes around. In fact, when we got into Rusty this afternoon, it was like a cloud coming out of it. There was all the mosquitoes from last night, and so there will be a few insects that are hatching off the water surface, but otherwise it is like glass. And if he comes to drink, we're going to get a beautiful reflection of Hosana drinking, and hopefully he comes to a nice flat section across from us, or maybe on this other side where the Egyptian geese are, and has a drink before he starts his evening of moving around. Now, talking about mosquitoes, I've even got 2 mosquitoes mating right next to me on my jersey. Do not mate on my jersey. I don't want mosquito larvae laid anywhere near me. Off you go. Who does that? I think we've timed this perfectly. I think if we'd got you early, it'd probably be quite a sleepy cat. So I think we've gotten here just the right time to see a bit of activity. Now, where he's going to go from here is going to be interesting. He's done a big kind of northward push to Buffelshoek Dam, and then went south to Twin Dams, and now he's back here. So it's going to be interesting where he's going to go. Proud Cat Mama, happy birthday. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. You say thank you for finding a leopard on your birthday. Well, it's my absolute pleasure. I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope that you're having a wonderful day, or continue to or have had a wonderful day, should I say, and continue to have a wonderful day further. And it is nice always when you have a leopard on your birthday, and hopefully I will be lucky this year and have a leopard on my birthday. It's always the animal I look for on my birthday. I don't know why. I like looking for them, and sometimes I get lucky, sometimes I don't. Now, the rest of your question I've completely forgotten, because I got so excited about your birthday and was too busy wishing you. So I know you said something about territory, but I didn't actually pick it up all. So Lou, if you can repeat that. Does the tail for a leopard have any specific uses? So yes, the tail is used quite a lot with a leopard, particularly when climbing. It just offsets the balance and it just helps to keep that cat straight when it's going up trees, and especially when it's hoisting carcasses. You can imagine carcasses swing and their weight throws the leopard off a little bit, and that tail will constantly move when climbing around to help with that. So they really do use their tail effectively for that. Also will help a little bit with hunting. Look, he's watching a giraffe in the distance. There's a giraffe. He's got his head over the log, and then in the distance you'll just see the head of a giraffe there. You see it walking on the horizon. So Hosana is watching the giraffe with a very lazy look. Now I wonder if this giraffe is going to come down the bank towards him, but it's just so funny to see how he's watching the giraffe. It's about as lazy a look as you could have. He's got his head resting perfect. There we go. Is that the best way to see it? Isn't he a cute cat sometimes? But the giraffe will come down and hopefully have a drink as well. It's really nice to see so many giraffe around. There's lots of tracks for them again, and we haven't seen many giraffe, and I think it's because of all the flowering bush willows. So the giraffe are coming back to feed off those, much like what we were discussing with the elephants earlier. And Hosana is just watching it. Of course, that's not a meal for Hosana. Hosana, even though he is a male leopard, he's not a fully grown male leopard, and that is a massive giraffe. That is not a small giraffe by any stretch of the imagination. It looks like a young male, so I highly doubt that giraffe is going to be on the menu, even for a big male leopard. We know that Tingana and Anderson have both brought down fairly hefty giraffe, but he's still got a long way to go before he's that size and is able to do such things. So the giraffe for him, unfortunately, will just be a figment of his imagination and a pipe dream for later in life. You're far better off with the Egyptian goose, Hosana, than you are with the giraffe. The giraffe is going to hurt you if you go after that, but can't help but look and ponder. I would imagine he sits there almost looking at it like a big steak. You know, when you're hungry and you go past somewhere and you see some really nice food, and he's kind of salivating at this massive giraffe that's walking past. He is such a beautiful cat, though. So a lot of you are commenting that I am truly the leopard whisperer. No, I don't think so. Like I say, I've just been so lucky. It's the time of the year as well. I'm on my own here at Djuma, so you know, if there had been other vehicles here, let's say Tayla or Ellie or Byron, they would have taken routes that I might have driven to have found some of these cats, and they would have had a lot of the sightings on their own. So the fact that I'm on my own has helped with me being able to see a lot of leopards and to have gone to a lot of the sightings that are around. That, coupled with the fact that it's dry season, water is a requirement, and particularly Hosana and Tamba, they seem to like to hang around water, and it's just been luck. It's not, I mean, we've tracked the odd one, but it's not been in any way, you know, that much of my kind of skill. It's just I've been lucky at the end of the day, and any one of the other presenters that had been here over this period would have also seen just as many leopards and would have really had just as special sightings. So it's just a lucky thing, and I suppose the positive vibes do help, and putting out positive thoughts and spending time looking for them, you sometimes do get rewarded. But at the end of the day, any one of the presenters at Safari Live has both the luck and the skill to pull off sightings plenty of any of these cats, and so I would imagine that any one of them would have seen these guys. It's like I say, I mean, it's one of those things, and in fact, actually, a lot of that goes down to my cameramen. The cameramen have, between Seb and Senzo, I've been so spoiled with the two of them, because they really spotted a lot of these cats for me. They've helped me a lot with spotting in areas that I might not have looked. They've got a different perspective to what I do, and they really have been a huge help. And it just goes to show how valuable it is to have guys that are really into it, so not just looking at a camera and thinking about just filming, but are really into actually kind of looking for things and being an extra pair of eyes for us. So they also need to take a lot of credit for what goes on. They really are, both of them, very, very, very enthusiastic about what we do and spotting animals, and they love it just as much as what I do. And you know, Seb seems to have a firm favorite in the leopards. I know Senzo is a lion man, and I've been shoving leopards down his throat for the whole week, but I think it's starting to grow on him. I think he's starting to enjoy finding the leopards, because he was quite excited when we saw Hosana just now at the dam. He's kind of exclaimed leopard. So you know, they need a lot of credit to those guys. They really do help me a lot. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Senzo. You're a champion. Take care. You're asking how far does a leopard's... Sorry, Senzo, that's my fault. I just took my foot off the brake. But how far does a leopard's claws go into a tree when it's climbing up? Depends, take care on the type of tree. So some trees are denser woods than others, and therefore claws sometimes don't go as deep as they should. Also depends on the leopard. If you've got a situation where you've got a young cub, its claws are going to be nowhere as big as then somebody like Tingana. So the bigger the claws, obviously the deeper and also the more powerful the animal, and the heavier the animal, the deeper those claws tend to go in the ability to get traction and get up. So you'll find with the male leopards, they'll go in, I would say probably, if I think about Tingana's claws that I saw the other day, maybe at most 5-6 millimeters. Not too deep. It's not as deep as you would think. Remember that a lot of these trees have bark on them, and so they're actually gripping onto the bark and pulling little bits of bark, and the claw itself doesn't go that deep into the wood. But in the really soft woods, I think the deepest I've ever seen is probably just over 1 centimeter, and that was in a very soft wooded tree. It was in a marula that was quite young and had been exposed by elephants stripping the bark, and the wood was really primed for a leopard to climb. It's also summer when there's a lot more moisture content and the wood tends to be slightly softer, so there was a lot of that. Now we are being currently absolutely overrun by mosquitoes. This is the first night since we've been out and about and the summer kind of temperatures have arrived that we've had mosquitoes, but they are everywhere. I can see clouds of them all around me, so hopefully we don't get hammered by them. They are one of the insects that really does like to go after me. So look at Hosana. There goes the Egyptian geese. With longing eyes, he's watching the Egyptian geese fly off. I'm sorry, my boy, that they didn't want to be your friends. Well, you didn't want to be their friend either. You wanted to eat them and make dinner out of them. So he's kind of longingly looking at these Egyptian geese just disappearing into the distance. But how beautiful is Treehouse Dam? It really is a wonderful place to view leopards. It's open, it's clear. There's some nice tall trees around it, and we often get that setting sun. What have you seen? Oh, there's Nyala, there's Nyala, wait, there's Nyala just on our right-hand side that are coming. They've not seen him, but he's watching them. Look, he's just trying to slink under the branch. Now, the Nyala have seen something, and they're a bit unsure, but there they are coming down. So this is why he's hanging around dams lately. He's getting a lot of opportunities to hunt. Now, if he's just clever, and he keeps his head down, and he stays still and keeps his tail from moving, he might just have a chance here. That Nyala knows something's up because he moved. That Nyala saw some movement and wasn't sure what was going on, but he's now got himself right up against the log, and I can promise you in the light that we've got at the moment, it is very difficult to see him, although those Nyala are looking intently in his direction. So there he is. Look at how he's blending. Even with the camera, it's becoming difficult to see him. So this dark, dingy light is really not easy to see, and he's going to have to hope that he sits dead still and exercises the patience that he did a few days ago when we saw him hunting those impalas, and to lay very low, not to make any noise or any movement, just to sit and wait until the Nyala are satisfied that there's nothing there. But that is pretty cool to see. So we might have sort of Hunt 2.0 from the other afternoon, and I was saying that this is a good time because he's going to start getting active. It's also been a warm day, which means these Nyala need to come and drink, and they're unsure. You can see the two at the back haven't noticed him, and now even the female, she's kind of saw something, but she's not sure. Now Hosana has actually creeped a little bit closer, and he's waiting for them to go down to drink. Just be patient, boy. She's definitely aware something is here. But that is the distance between them at the moment. It's not very far. So he's on the far left of that screen. You can hardly see him in this light. He's completely hidden. That spotted coat is blending in so well. And then the Nyala notice some sort of movement, and they're just watching. But look at him. He's in that exact same position that we saw him with the impalas, flat, low to the ground. Now he needs to just be patient and wait for them to all commit to drinking before he decides to move any further. Now, slowly but surely, they are coming down to drink. And in fact, they have started drinking. You can see he's popping his head up now. He's getting ready to try and position himself again. Once all the heads go down and they're drinking, he can then move and try and work out a way to get closer. But at the moment, he's just watching and checking. There we go. You see he's trying to creep. The Nyala are drinking now, so they're all heads down. but he doesn't really have much to work with here. He's unfortunate that the Nyala have drank where they have. Hopefully for him, once they finish drinking, they walk towards him. That's his only option that he's got. Otherwise, he's going to have a bit of a tough time of it, because where he is currently is not great at all. And also, I want to try and take my light off him, because I don't want those Nyala to see. So I'm sorry if it gets a little bit darker, but I don't want that. Look, there he's crawling. So he's into that leopard crawl again. Now, leopards have different collarbones to other animals, and then they have a floating collarbone, and that allows them basically to push their tummy right down onto the ground, push their hips up, and they can then crawl on their tummy and keep their profile low. But this Nyala knows something's not quite right. It's much like the impalas the other day. This Nyala is aware that, hang on a second, there is something that keeps kind of catching my eye. I'm not sure what it is, but she is definitely unsure. Now, if these Nyala move around the dam and head closer towards where Hosana is, they're going to be in a lot of trouble, because he's going to have the run on them. But I don't think they will. I think they're going to go back the way they came. Yep, that female is very nervous. She knows, hang on, something's not right here. I'm going to go back the way I came. That's the safest route. And there they go up the bank. Now, whether Hosana is going to follow is going to be interesting. Although she's turning, I wonder where she's going to go. I cannot believe how many mosquitoes are around us, though. It is quite phenomenal to see them. There is clouds and clouds and clouds of them. I'm sorry that it's very dark. We don't have our IR on just yet. We haven't had time to put it on, and unfortunately I don't want to shine lights on him or the Nyala, so I know it is a little bit on the dark side, but please bear with us. We'll try and put our lights on once the Nyala have left, and we'll be able to then see him a little bit better. But the Nyala are clever. They're going exactly the route they've come, knowing that that's a safe place that they've come from. So now I can put on my light again and just give him a bit more sort of color, because they've drifted away. So they are no longer even facing him. He's going to have to try and find himself a better place to try and stalk. And maybe once they go around the corner and they drift off into the thicket, he might then start to pursue them. Sorry, my boy, it didn't quite work out for you. You were close again, but had the idea again. It's just he's got to hope for that they come a little bit closer to drink than what they did, unfortunately. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure of that we are going to find Hosana on a kill at one of these dams within the next week. I'm pretty sure about it. He's learning valuable lessons every time, and he is starting to work out that this is where he needs to be in the afternoons. And it's why we're finding him a lot at these dams, is because in the afternoons he knows animals come to drink, particularly in warm weather, and this is the best place to be, is to sit in these dams, wait and watch, and soon things come. Now, what have you spotted above you? He's kind of looking up into the trees to see what's going on. So Senzo is going to go into IR, so you'll see the color will go away. We'll go black and white, and it will help us see a lot better. There we go. It's going to be a lot better now. Unfortunately, we don't have the IR light, so it will still be a little bit kind of noisy, but once we have a chance to put the IR light on, it will be much better. Yawning, which means that, again, I think he is going to move. Hopefully it is to come drink. That would be ideal, although at this stage, it seems as though he's still contemplating which way he's going to go in order to hunt his Nyala. Christine, you're saying Hosana is such a patient boy. He is, isn't he? I've been absolutely amazed by the patience he's shown over the last little bit. He's really matured as an individual. He's no longer that little boy that kind of rushes out and tries to go after anything and chase everything. He's working out techniques day by day, and he seems to be getting a lot more successful with how he's approaching hunting. He seems to have worked out that dams are the way to go at the moment, that there's lots of food items that are coming down towards waterholes, and that if he uses the banks and the undulating terrain of these waterholes, that there is a chance that he can hunt, and that he needs to just be patient and the time will come. He might have 10 hunts like this where he misses and he doesn't even get to chase, but there will be a day where they're going to come straight towards him and he's going to have them right on his basically his doorstep, and he'll be able to grab one. So this is all great training, even though that you can't constitute as a proper hunt. He's just stalked and he's working out, so it's a lesson that has been learnt from what he's just done. It wasn't actually a hunt and a failure. It's more a lesson. He didn't really have much of a chance given how open it was between him and the Nyala, so he did the best he could, and that's okay. Like I say, he's going to have gleaned valuable information from that, and will learn in terms of how to hunt around Treehouse the next time he's here. So really good to see, and he's fast becoming a very clever little cat, and streetwise is probably the way I would describe him. And maybe that being on his own and having the mother that he's had really has prepped him to be the way he is. You can see he's being driven mad by the mosquitoes just as much as we are. He's biting about and sort of lashing out at them, scratching. So I think he's having his own mosquito problems that we are having as well, this side of the world. Kimberly, you hope that Hosana gets some supper soon. Well, I think he's still feeding. I mean, at the end of the day, he's not emaciated by any stretch of the imagination. So I think he's catching smaller mammals at night. So things like scrub hares and varying other smaller mammals that we see. Things like steenbok maybe. Even tortoises he'll go after. The odd terrapin, maybe birds in between all of that. So I think he's sustaining himself on those. But yes, it would be really nice for him to grab himself a big impala like he had when I started a few weeks ago back from leave, when he had that impala in the tree close to Treehouse Dam. That would be ideal and first prize for Hosana. That's what I would really hope that he got. And there's no better place to do it than at these water holes. So between here and Twin Dams, it's going to come. He will find one at some point, and when he does, hopefully we will be here to find it, or to film it at least, and see him with his dinner. It would be really nice to come around the corner and have him up in a tree with a big impala. Isn't he beautiful though? Now unfortunately our Mara girls have got no signal at the moment, so you're going to be with me and enjoy Hosana for longer. Pelin, the biggest thing that I've ever seen a leopard catch is a 2-year-old giraffe, which was massive. So that was Tingana that caught that with Moya. He was mating with Moya and managed to catch a 2-year-old giraffe, which was really a massive meal. I've got a photo of it somewhere. I will try and find it somewhere for you and be able to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So that's the biggest. The smallest, termites. So I've seen leopards feeding off winged owlets, which is the smallest thing. So between the two, they will go after both. Now he seems to be interested in something else. I wonder if there's something else that is approaching this area. And oh, there's a duiker. So he's stalking a duiker now. There's a duiker straight in front of me that's coming down for water as well. So it's just on the edge of a thicket, and it's slowly but surely making its way down towards the water as we speak. So you will have a little bit, unfortunately, of darkness because of the lights that's gone off, and will be in infrared. But like I say, we don't have an infrared light, so it's not going to be 100%, but we'll still be able to see what goes on. The duiker is heading straight towards me, and it's hopefully going to come out of a thicket. Right now we won't see much of it because it's just behind a bush, but it should be slowly but surely coming down to drink and have water, and so hopefully that's what's going to happen, and Hosana will be able to stalk the duiker. You can see though there's opportunity abounding from every direction at the moment, and it'll be interesting to see where the duiker's gone because I can't see it now. It was moving up towards the thicket again. I've lost it completely. I'm not sure where it's gone, but it was directly in front of me in a little grassy patch. I just saw its head bobbing around, but now I can't see it at all. Senzo, can you see it? Not yet. So it seems as though maybe it's gone across the road. The way that Hosana's looking looks as though he's looking north of the dam at the moment. So I wonder if he isn't just checking up that way. Okay, so there we go. There's a light. So Senzo has done a quick fix, and he's holding the IR light so that we can see her much better at night. Well done, Senzo. That's a sterling effort that you're busy doing there. It's not easy to hold a camera and a light, but he's doing it so that we can see a lot better, and we can actually film what takes place and what goes on. If you want, Senzo, I can hold the light for you if you want to be able to. Okay, so he says he's alright. Now, it seems as though Hosana has lost interest just a little bit and is not paying as much attention to that duiker. I think it's because it's not coming down for water. I think he's decided that he's not too concerned at this stage. But you see, he's still at least aware that there are things around. Look at those ears listening. There we go. Now he's starting to go. I think he's going to start creeping up back towards where that duiker went. Just getting himself a little bit of height just to see what's going on. And it is amazing. I cannot see a single thing now. It is just literally a blur on the other side of the bank. It's only because I know where he is that I can see him. Otherwise, he's completely blending in. But with the IR, we're able to see. It really is quite amazing. And look how big he's getting. He's getting nice tall legs now. He's getting really quite large. Are you going to sit on your stump? Nope. A little unsure, I think, what he wants to do at this stage. I don't know if he wants to leave the dam or if he wants to hunt the duiker that was around or go back after the nyala or where he wants to go. But he's sitting and listening and looking, and I think he's hoping that something's going to come drink and he can use the cover of darkness to hunt from the edge of this water. That's what I think he's hoping for. I wonder if that's not how he killed the impala here last time, is that the one that we saw in the tree, that he dragged it from the dam side. So maybe he knows if he's just patient here at night, something will arrive and he will have that opportunity to hunt and have it in his advantage by it being here at night and just spending time. So maybe he knows just to be patient and not to go wandering off into the bush and attract attention to himself by chasing things that are not really there to be chased, and rather wait and be patient and let things come to him. Seems like a good strategy anyway. Right, now I'm going to try and get my IR working correctly. I believe Jamie has found some signal, and not only that, but two very interesting round-eared creatures.
We're back once again, and we've got a lovely surprise. We've battled off the gremlins, and we've come across some bat-eared foxes. I'd be dying to put bat-eared foxes on camera, especially when Tayla had such a wonderful sighting last night. And there they go, trotting off into the darkness. Oh, my goodness. Have I got caffeine shakes or something? Stay still, Spotlight. There they go, off on their night hunting expedition, off in search of insects. They are, of course, insectivores. So they're off searching for insects. It takes me back to my days working in the Kalahari, in the green Kalahari. We used to see bat-eared foxes all the time, and we had den sites and little babies, and such amazing little creatures. They usually relax quite quickly, but these two are very, very skittish. We're very far away from them. Here you go. Hi, guys. An enormous number of teeth. Flat-eared foxes. Off they go, trotting into the darkness. Hi, guys. I'll try it. Let me try and reposition. It's going to be a bit shaky. They will have to deal with it. It's just one of those things. We've got this amazing camera that lets us view the animals at night, but it doesn't zoom back far enough for you to see the back of my head. So we apologize if you get motion sick. Oh, please don't disappear, signal. I'm definitely going downhill. Wait up! I've lost them. Oh, there they are. There they are. Let's try and keep some distance. There we go. Managed to find them again. So I'm having to use, because of the distance that we're at, I'm having to use my spotlight to help us see them. They're naturally quite inquisitive creatures. And they have, as I said, an enormous number of teeth, funnily enough. We used to play peekaboo with them, and they used to run into the road and turn the lights on and then turn the lights off. Stevie, you say what a great sighting. They are definitely thoroughly enjoyable little creatures. They're so entertaining. You know, we've got a lot of time that we're going to spend here in the Mara. If we could find a bat-eared fox den and sit there and habituate them, that would be something really special. Get them used to us. I know Brent did find one. Now, it's something that we should think about when we have slightly more time on our hands. Go and sit and spend time with the bat-eared foxes. Hey, what do you guys think of that? Let's go over to Hosana.
Well, it seems Hosana is stalking something, so we can just see a light of an eye in the grass. I think it's a scrub hare that he's stalking. Yes, there's the scrub hare, and he is probably about 5 meters to the left of it, just behind that tree. So there is a tree there that has got a black mark on it, which is the time-lapse clip for Seb, and he's somewhere in that thicket between those trees. So if you do see the black sort of square, that is for Seb to do his time lapses. But there's Hosana. There you can just see the back of his tail, and he's kind of prepping himself to almost jump. So we'll stay on the scrub hare for now, because he's slowly but surely stalking his way towards that scrub hare. And this is the kind of thing that he will go after. Remember, we were saying that he'll feed off things like scrub hares to sustain himself between the big meals like impalas. So he's definitely stalking that, and I wonder if he's not going to sneak his way a little bit closer, and that scrub hare is going to be caught unawares. Let's see. Interesting though that he picked it up. It was amazing. He was just sitting there, and he all of a sudden picked up something and just started moving that way, and then the scrub hare has just popped out now, and hopefully the scrub hare moves towards Hosana and we see him chasing it, because it'll be amazing. We know that he has caught a scrub hare in the last week, so I'm pretty sure he does go after them quite regularly. And I've had a very close encounter with a scrub hare in Hosana. Unfortunately, he missed that day, but let's see. Maybe he's going to get a little closer. It's interesting. There's the eyes of the scrub hare. Now, of course, there's no lights on whatsoever, so we can't see anything in the dark. I can't see where he is or the scrub hare. It's only through the monitor that I can watch what's going on. So hopefully for Hosana, he just sits tight where he is, and the little scrub hare comes bounding towards him around that mound, which I don't know if it's going to do. The road is on the other side there, and we know the scrub hares like to be in open clearings. They don't really like to go through thickets, but maybe it seems as though it's coming closer. Is it coming closer? It does look like it's coming straight towards us, doesn't it? Which means it's going to make its way straight towards Hosana. Nope. There, it's turning now. No. Can't see him at all. I don't know where he's gone, but he's somewhere behind that clump of trees. Is he still there? Oh, there he is. You can just see him. Look at that camouflage. Isn't that amazing? So he's going to just lower himself probably and start to creep again. The thing about a scrub hare is it's a fleet-footed animal and it's fast. And out of all the animals out here that see well at night, scrub hares are one of them. So scrub hares also do see very well. And so he's got to be a little bit aware of that. And that's why he's taking his time. It's about patience. And this is what he has to learn as a leopard. A leopard is an ambush predator. It's not a rushing predator like a cheetah or a lion in those sort of regards. It's more an ambush. It needs to wait. It needs to hold tight and wait for that exact opportunity there. Now the scrub hare's moved a little bit. You see how careful he is with his feet, placing them delicately and ever so quietly, making sure he's not making noise. And you'll find the back leg, if he takes another step, will go exactly where that front leg went. So he's going to direct register. He's going to make sure that he's not making too much noise by moving, and he keeps his feet moving in the same. Look, you see how carefully he places that back foot right where that front foot was, and he ever so gently places his front foot. There we go. See how he's watching? Look at how that back foot comes down slowly. I think maybe the scrub hare has run off a little bit because his movement is quickened slightly. Like I say, I can't see anything. I have no idea where the scrub hare has gone. I've got no lights at all, so difficult for me to see what's happening. Okay, I can see the scrub hare now. So the scrub hare is just to the right, Senzo, just in the open clearing there. Somewhere in that general vicinity I saw it. I don't know, somewhere there. So Mary, you say he's definitely going to catch something for dinner tonight. Well, I hope so. He's certainly trying his luck with everything that is around. So I'm sure at some point he is going to grab something. I'm sure I saw that scrub hare out on that open clearing somewhere. Maybe it was just my eyes deceiving me. Interesting. Nonetheless, I thought I saw it there. Either the way, it must be somewhere close that he's kind of moving along that thicket. Can you see him still, Senzo? Is he still behind the tree? It's difficult to make them out when they're behind thickets like this. Yes, there he is. He's at the back there. So I'm just going to try and watch him more than the scrub hare, because the scrub hare is going to move around and is going to sort of trot and jump and kind of run around a little bit, and so if we watch him, we'll be able to keep up with what is going on. What I want to try and do is just get a slightly better angle on this, because we're not going to disturb the hunt too much from where I am. I'm right across the dam on the other side, so I just want to go up onto the dam wall itself, and we shouldn't have any issues if we go onto the dam wall. We should have a situation where we're able to kind of still view the process, but have a much better, clearer view with him behind that thicket as we speak. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to get that side. Now a mosquito bit me on the nose, and it's super itchy, and now it's really the first time I've ever been bitten on the nose before. It's driving me a little bit on the mad side, I must be honest. It's a very unusual feeling to have an itchy nose via mosquito bite. So I do apologize if I sneeze at any stage. It's because of this silly little sort of nose that I've got of my at the moment. So there I can see him. Can you see him, Sensor? So we're going to try and just watch him for a little bit longer and see how close he is. Look, there he's stalking. How cool is that? With the infrared and his lights glowing as he's stalking down towards the water. Look at how he's slowly but surely making his way, checking his movement every now and then. Where's the scrub here? I don't see it. It's somewhere here. The way he's stalking, he can see the scrub here. I honestly have no idea where it is. Must be somewhere in this little clearing. But I think let's carry on with him. We would normally be wrapping the show now, but we're going to extend just to watch Hosana hunting and try and see if he doesn't catch himself a meal. The way he's walking and stalking, how cool is that? It's just that much more sort of hectic with his eyes glowing. It's so much more airy. Imagine that stalking you in the night and you saw that coming. It's enough to make people have nightmares. But so cool. Look how he's just focus. His muscles are twitching as he watches and stares and looks. I don't know how far he's got to go. I seriously can't see the scrub here. Oh, there it is. Is it not here at the bottom, Senzo? Down here, right to the right, Other way. There it is. There's the scrub here. So it's up against the bank, and he's got an opportunity now. The scrub here is obscuring itself with that branch, so he can then stalk. You can see he's got a long way to go, though, to get anywhere near, and it's completely open, so it's not like he's hidden. But he's going to try. He's going to try and keep coming and keep using that to be able to see. And this infrared light, the way that the eyes catch it and they glow a little bit, really helps for us to be able to track both of them. So we can see the scrub here on the bottom right, leopard on the top left, and hopefully he's going to slowly but surely make his way down towards this area. How cool is this? So coming up onto this dam wall certainly seems like a better option. There he comes, slowly but surely. And you can see the light doesn't affect him in any way whatsoever. He's not blinded by it. We're not showing him. The scrub hair can't see him. We can't affect the scrub hair, so they can't see Hosana. And so everybody is kind of at their natural state, and it is amazing to watch it in this way. The scrub hair is still feeding down below. He has got no idea there's a leopard stalking it. It's better that way, scrub hair. You can see the scrub hair is just feeding. It has no clue that this leopard is coming and what's lurking behind it. Like I said, it's stuff nightmares are made of. Glowing eyes in the darkness coming towards you. I think many a child would be creeped out by that. And of course, for us, this is just so exciting. So hopefully he's going to just cover that ground. And where that scrub hair is perfect for him in a way, because the scrub hair is behind a little bush, and it's kind of hopping up towards us now. Behind these little bushes are not the worst places, because Hosana can use that as cover from the scrub hair. And you can see the scrub hair is basically going from little tuft of grass to little tuft of grass as it tries to kind of feed during the night. And perfect. Look, here comes Hosana. You can see he's using that cover now of darkness to head in that direction. The scrub hare's ears are not going to be working as well when it's feeding. It's going to be rustling in the grass. It's not going to be making a bit of noise. You see the scrub hare's now noticed something. Hang on. What's going on? No, there comes Hosana again. He's seen that the scrub hare's not watching, and he's going to slowly come in this direction. The problem is he's got to go uphill now to grab that scrub hare. If he can get behind that little bush and wait for the scrub hare to come to the left, he might be in business here. But you see how he waits for the scrub hare to put its head down before he takes a step. But look at that. That is just patience and control. At the end of the day, this leopard, his tail, his everything, is twitching, he's excited, but he's controlling every little bit of that as he stalks towards the scrub hare. And it is an exercise in complete patience and how a leopard goes about its business. We all think that cats and stalking is easy and that these guys have it quite easy when they stalk, but you can see how much patience, how much exercise, how much energy is put in. And you see how he's working it out. He's trying to work out. Oh, the scrub hare is listening. Hosana, stay there now. Just wait for the scrub hare to feed. And he's frozen, look. He knows now a movement might give him away. Oh, the scrub hare's back feeding. The scrub hare is also aware of something. It's like, I don't know so much if everything's okay here. Much like the Nyala earlier. But it's, as soon as it feeds again, that gives Hosana the opportunity to move. How cool is this? No, here comes, this is really, the scrub hare is running straight towards us. It's right next to the vehicle at this stage. There's Hosana, there's the vehicle. So our lights are completely off. I can't see either one of them right now, but literally the scrub hare is running straight towards my tire, and Hosana is just below on the bottom of the damn wall at the moment. And it's a bit of a chess game right now, so we're going to see who's going to move where next. Hopefully the scrub hare comes to that patch of grass on the left of the screen and goes towards it to feed, and then Hosana can just use that thicket to come around and then maybe launch an attack from there. But it doesn't look like it. It looks like almost the scrub hare is going to come under our car instead. Don't come this way, scrub hare. No, toilet time when being stalked. There we go, that's what I was saying. If he goes into those thickets, and Hosana can use the edge of the dam, come around and use those long grassy areas to his advantage. Come on. There we go. So you see now he's already starting to move in the background. He's starting to work out, hang on a second, I've got an opportunity as soon as it goes into the thicket to be able to move. Amazing, isn't it? There he comes. See him moving now in the background? Kimberly, you say if Hosana can get there, it's just a bound and he's got his dinner. I know, it's so much patience he's got to exercise to get there. That's the problem. And look at him, how he's positioning his feet slowly and watching, moving ever so quietly, hoping the scrub hare doesn't see him. Where's the scrub hare gone? I've lost the scrub hare. Oh, there it is. It's just on the left side there. So scrub hare on the left, Hosana on the right. He's getting closer. I wonder if he's going to launch his attack soon. It's tantalizingly close. Now, unfortunately, we can't hear him walking. He's making absolutely no sound whatsoever. He is trying to keep as low profile as is possible. You see now he's watching it going down. He's positioning himself to ready to pounce. Look, the back legs are loaded. They're down. You see how the bum is going downwards? He's basically, it's like loading a spring-loaded machine. So he's getting that so that he can do this big pounce over the top and then rush towards that scrub hare. No, he's decided just a little far. He's going to come around the grass instead. That's the way to do it, Hosana. Hopefully he doesn't end up in treehouse dam. There we go. There we go. No, he missed it. He unfortunately slipped down the bank and into the water, and the scrub hare got away. Oh no, sorry boy. Not only did you miss your dinner, but you got wet as well. Oh no. Anyway, that was just so cool. We've been spoilt by this young man. He's let us have the most epic stalking sightings the last few days. So close yet so far. But how cool was that? So special. Wow. Shame boy, did you get a little wet as well on your way down? Unfortunately, he's missed dinner, so I think what we're going to do is probably wrap it up there. We stayed a little bit longer just to see how that would all play out, and with the scrub hare departing the scene and running off into the distance and Hosana looking a little bit bewildered, we are probably going to start then our heading home and try and come back in the morning and see where he's gone. I don't think he'll be here in the morning. I think he'll probably head off somewhere else, but you never know. Now, unfortunately, like I say, it is that time to say goodbye. I know Tayla and Jamie, who are in the Masai Mara, they've had an absolutely wonderful afternoon that side, and they've tried to get as much signal as possible, and hopefully they'll combat their gremlins as they go along and have a good evening. But from myself and Senzo, we've had an absolutely fantastic afternoon. It's been elephants, we've had leopard, giraffe. It's just really couldn't have been any better whatsoever. So from myself and Senzo and Lou in final control and Megan, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll see you tomorrow on the Sunrise Safari.